Hi everyone, welcome. My name is Christine Garrison and I am a health coach, and I help midlife women who are fed up with dieting stop their sabotaging beliefs and behaviors and take practical small steps in their health so that they can feel younger as they get older. And today I want to actually kind of talk about why I became a health coach, because I don't know that I've ever really discussed this before. So hopefully you'll find it interesting and maybe a little inspirational in your own life. So my background is actually in exercise science. So I have a master's degree in kinesiology, which is just basically the study of exercise. So my whole life was all about exercise, 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 and not really about nutrition, nutrition, nutrition. My nutrition was not great. I ate mostly fast foods or ultra processed foods. Did not like, I don't think there was a single vegetable I liked. I mean, my veggies were, French fries and the lettuce that came with the hamburger. That was my veggies, basically. And I pretty much had an identity of, I hate to cook, I don't know how to cook, I don't like cooking, I don't like vegetables, I don't like eating that, I like ultra processed food. That was my identity. I hate to cook and I do not want to cook. So that was all fine and great and dandy for a long time, until probably about 10 years ago, when I, had a regular checkup and doctor's appointment and whatnot, and I was getting some sort of kind of wonky numbers in some of my, numbers that you take regularly at your doctor's appointments visits. Some of those numbers were like, what's going on there? Had some further testing done and everything, but kind of came to the realization that, maybe it was time to start paying more attention to my health and specifically my nutrition. A little bit about my background or family history. Unfortunately, both of my parents passed away in their early 60s, and both of them really were suffering from very typical lifestyle diseases: type 2 diabetes, cancers, strokes, heart disease, all that kind of thing. So that was definitely in the forefront of my mind, is what is my future going to look like? What is my health going to be like? And what kind of future did I want to have? Obviously, I wanted to have a great future. I wanted my, years in my 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s plus to be filled with travel and adventure and new hobbies and spending time with family and friends and doing fun things. I wanted it to be fun. I wanted my future to be fun and not feel like, well, all the best years are behind me now. Those were in my 20s and that's over. No, I wanted my 20s fun right now in this day and age, and then as I get older. So the only way to continue having fun as we get older is to really start paying more attention to our health. So I needed to do that with specifically the nutrition. I had the exercise dialed in, but the nutrition was severely lacking. So I decided, all right, what am I going to do? And thankfully, this was before I discovered health coaching or anything like that. I decided I'm going to just take a small step. What is one small, easy thing I can do for nutrition? And I realized, well, I hear broccoli is healthy for you. I'll start with broccoli. So step one was buy some broccoli. Okay. Step two was find a YouTube video that taught me how to cook the broccoli. And I was specifically looking for YouTube videos that were less than 5 minutes, because I don't like to cook. I don't want it complicated. I want it simple and easy. And there's a lot of YouTube videos less than 5 minutes on how to cook broccoli. So I found a couple. You needed olive oil, you needed salt, you needed pepper. That was it. So I learned how to roast broccoli, which is not very challenging. So step three was, I'm going to pick a day of the week, let's say Wednesday, where I'm going to make the broccoli. Step four was I made the broccoli on the Wednesday. Turned out well. Let's repeat it. Next Wednesday, I'm going to make that broccoli again. Great. Continue, continue, continue. At some point, I looked up some different videos on YouTube of how can I cook broccoli a different way, and I learned other techniques to cooking broccoli. After I got a little tired of broccoli, I decided, what's another veggie I could make? how do you cook squash? What can I do with zucchini? Again, back to YouTube, back to very short, less than 5-minute videos of how to cook this vegetable. And then I would do it, and I would just do it, just add one more day a week. Well, fast forward now 10 years, basically, and I have a completely new identity when it comes to cooking. So my old identity was, I can't cook, I don't want to cook, I hate cooking, I don't like vegetables. My new identity is, I cook healthy and nutritious meals at least 5 nights of the week for my family. Now, I don't necessarily enjoy it. If you've seen other of my Facebook Live posts, you know I don't really enjoy cooking. I still don't enjoy it. I don't know that I will ever have the identity that I consider myself a chef or a cook. No, I don't enjoy it. But I do it anyway. And if you want to learn that secret, that's a Facebook Live I did a couple weeks ago where it's called I Hate Cooking, but I cook anyway. So you can learn how to do that. But I do have a new identity now of, I cook at least 5 nights a week. I cook healthy, nutritious meals for my family 5 nights a week. And I actually enjoy the veggies that I make. I've learned some ways to make things that I like eating these vegetables. So I completely changed my identity with that. Now, along the way, that's when I kind of decided, let me get a little bit more education in this, discovered health coaching, which really kind of marries together the exercise, the nutrition, and then a whole bunch of like behavioral modification kind of stuff all together in a nice package. And that's how I got started as being a health coach, basically. And all my numbers are good again, and I feel great, and I do feel better now than I did like 10 years ago. So that's fantastic. Now, unfortunately, my mom passed away almost 15 years ago now. And I was not a health coach then, and I didn't know anything about this, and I hadn't really started my own personal journey of learning how to eat vegetables. And my mom was, as the majority of people are, I call them merry-go-rounders. And what that is, you decide you need to make a change, you need to change your health for the better, and I'm going to start a new diet. I'm going to join the gym. I'm going to work out every day. And that starts, you start, and then pretty much you lose momentum until you end up right back where you started from, and you don't really have any forward progress. That's a merry-go-rounder, and that, unfortunately, is what my mom did multiple times throughout her life, trying to make health changes, and it just not sticking. And now I can look back and I totally see why, and how it could have been different, but unfortunately it wasn't. So with my business, that's why I even named it Small Steps Coaching, because it's not about being a merry-go-rounder. It's not about, I'm going to start a new diet, I'm going to start exercising, and think you're going to make all these changes overnight. It's about being a small stepper, and that's what I consider myself now, is a small stepper. It's making one simple, little tiny change that almost feels like nothing. I bought broccoli. That was my first small step. I bought broccoli. I watched a YouTube video. I implemented that YouTube video. Super simple, super basic. 1 day a week I was eating broccoli. But now fast forward 10 years later, and it's all built on itself, and it's gained momentum, and now I eat multiple vegetables every single day. That's what I mean by being a small stepper and taking small steps. And that is how I became a health coach, and why I picked the name Small Steps Coaching. So I want you to ask yourself, what do you want for your future? What do you want your future to look like? Do you think that your best years are behind you? Or can you imagine your best years are maybe yet to come? And they absolutely can be yet to come. If you change some small little tweaks here and there that build on themselves and gain momentum, you can change the future of your life. You can change your health and therefore change the quality of your life. I want to have a totally awesome life. I graduated high school in '85, so I'm all about the '80s, and I want a totally awesome rest of my life. And when you have good health, that certainly helps to get you there. So ask yourself what kind of future you want, What is one small step you could do today to start that future, to get the ball rolling just a little bit? That could be you go pick a new vegetable that you've never tried before. Learn how to cook it like I had to. Take a 2-minute walk. Walk around your house. Walk to your mailbox. That was the last Facebook Live I did, was the story of the gentleman who just started by walking to his mailbox. But one small step that you can start down that path. Kind of along these lines, I have been working on a mini course all about how to stop unwanted behaviors, unwanted habits, and it's done. I'm just checking all the links, making sure it works, but I'm going to offer it free. It is free. It's called ACEs Approach. It'll be a free mini course all about how to stop unwanted behaviors, like say unwanted snacking at night. I kind of focus on that a little bit, but I'm hoping to have that available on the website, on my business page here. Very soon, very shortly, maybe even towards the end of this week, I'll do a Facebook Live talking about it, but that is going to be free for everybody to try out, and it's just going to be kind of showing you the way, how can you start taking a small step in changing behavior. And then, fast forward 10 years in your own life, where do you think you could be in 10 years if all these tiny little small steps kind of start building on top of each other? Okay, so I hope you enjoyed my story of how I became a health coach, and I hope you will keep checking back on my Facebook business page to see when I've got that free mini course up and ready to go, and I will see everybody again soon. Bye.